This episode is brought to you by Muntins Malts, a company that is passionate about providing premium malts to brewers worldwide. For over a century, Muntins has been a leading supplier of brewing and distilling malts, offering the finest British malted barley on the market. You can experience the difference Muntins offers by joining a recipe receiving tier of our Trub Club, because every kit that ships out now includes premium Muntins malt. You know, we've known the Muntins crew for a long time, and I can tell you, friend, you're going to love brewing with their grains. Ask your local supply shop to carry Muntins malts, or homebrewers can join our Trub Club at homebrewhappyhour.com/club, be a part of the community, and come brew with us. Thank you, Muntins, for supporting our efforts and homebrewers worldwide. Today's show is brought to you by hopsdirect.com. Grown in the esteemed Yakima Valley on the Pewterball family farm, hopsdirect.com offers the widest variety of hops available online at incredibly competitive pricing. It's simple. They grow hops, they sell hops, and they ship hops straight from their family-owned farm to your doorstep. Producing the highest quality hops is hopsdirect.com's passion, and they're proud to be an independent grower in the craft beer industry. Go to hopsdirect.com right now and get what you need to make your brew day better. That's hopsdirect.com. Today's show is brought to you by Imperial Yeast. You hear us gushing over Imperial Yeast all the time, and that's because their yeast performs for us in every batch that we brew. Imperial Yeast is adored by commercial breweries and home brewers alike. Their pitch-right pouches are jam-packed with over 200 billion fresh yeast cells, guaranteed to deliver flawless, fast fermentations every time. Imperial Yeast strains are grown by a team of pro brewers and home brewers who live to help other brewers learn more and ferment better. Join any recipe receiving tier of our Trub Club and get a free upgrade to premium Imperial Yeast with every recipe kit that ships out to you. Learn more at homebrewhappyhour.com/club and come brew with us.
Entertaining shows with content that spreads information and sparks discourse throughout the community. This is the Pearl Media Network.
Shelf life for brewing minerals, wanting more coffee flavor from a breakfast stout, and refilling your own CO2 cylinders at home. This is Homebrew Happy Hour, episode 415. Well, hello, my friends, and welcome back to another episode of the Homebrew Happy Hour. This is the show where we supply the answers to your home brewing questions and discuss all things related to craft beer. And if you, my friend, have a question you'd like us to discuss on a future episode, you could go to homebrewhappyhour.com, use that submit a question link at the top of the page. You could text me directly or email Joshua at homebrewhappyhour.com. But what you're going to do is call it in to 325-305-6107. And when I use your voicemail on a future episode, you'll get yourself a gift card to kegconnection.com. It's that easy. It's that simple. I love your voicemails. I am that desperate. Joining me, I am one of your hosts, Joshua Stubing. Joining me, as always, is the Director of Operations at cmbecker.com down there, Mr. James Carlson, as well as the President and Chief Keg Washer at Keg Connection, Mr. Todd Burns. Gentlemen, I know we did it last week, but Happy New Year again. It's our first real episode of the year. I have my iPad back with, it had Todd's licking stain on it. I've watched it many a times, and then also used this glass surface cleaner a bunch.
I thought you'd save it.
It was disgusting. Your mic is so hot, dude. Is your thing turned up? Your mic is like glaringly hot. Oh yeah, I mean you could just you could keep it. I could deal with it in post, but I didn't notice until you started.
How's that?
There we go. Hey.
All right.
Not glaring. That's all that I asked for. But anyway, so I got the iPad back, so it's going to be a little bit smoother. That's good. Making its return is also the gong. Oh, it's going to be a good day. It's going to be a good episode. We are getting in the swing of things for 2025. I'm still weirded out, James, by saying 2025. It's like time. I know I'm preaching to the choir with you two guys. Not calling y'all old, but I feel like every year just fast.
It's quicker.
It's that song from Pink Floyd. It's actually one of my favorite songs of all time. It moved me when I was a teenager and heard it for the first time. But talking about, yeah, you're a kid, you've got time to kill, you're kicking a can, you're just wasting it away. It can never come soon enough. You blink, 10 years has passed by. You blink, you're on death's bed. This is the existentialist.
Wow, what a upbeat episode for the first one of the year.
The existentialist crisis happy hour is what we're calling this episode. No, I do have some small talk. We have feedback, and we've got 3 great questions. Let me get through the small talk first. My friends, if you go to patreon.com/homebrew happy hour and join at a recipe receiving tier, specifically the every month one, but if you do the every other month, I'll work with you. This month's kit is my favorite. We're starting off 2025 with a Kolsch. Oh, it's so good. This kit, I promise you, will yield the best results. And that's because we use the best ingredients from Muntins, from Hops Direct. And what really makes this kit is the strain of yeast we use from Imperial Yeast, that Dieter. James, I know I've said this a million times, but that's my favorite strain ever. Imperial made such a good product.
Yeah, they do.
Which I'm about to put in an order. I need to get your Harvest. I have that on the list. If y'all need other yeast, tell me, but I'll just get you a bunch of Harvest for your brew days. Todd, I don't know what you want. You didn't make a request yet, but
I don't need anything right now.
Yeah, Todd Burns doesn't brew. It's all the time. We were talking about it during the holiday season. All the beer that he's serving is from me and James. I believe
I do have one beer on tap. I didn't even realize it. And I was looking, I told somebody that the other day, and then I looked on the menu and I was like, oh, I did brew that beer.
What was your beer? Which one's on tap?
It's, I forgot.
You can't remember.
It's a dark beer, but I can't remember which one it is.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, because even off of tap, you have kegs in reserve that I'd brought. You still have another keg of that grapefruit pale I saw in your beer fridge. I don't think you've tapped into. Oh, you have had the Schwartz beer. We've talked about that. Never mind. You have had the Schwartz beer, but there's no birthday pills left from what James did. Y'all drank all of that.
Really?
That's what you told me.
That was a long time ago too.
When you made it, yeah, and it sat on tap, and I think we actually said it last week, where the pills benefits from time, much like, friends, this Kolsch. If you go to patreon.com/homebrew happy hour. Join a recipe receiving tier. I promise you're going to enjoy it. And with the announcement of that kit, that also means that Brew Day Live is coming up. My pop and I will be brewing this Kolsch on Friday, January 24th, 2025 at 10
Oh, I thought it was on Saturday.
No, remember, January is the last one for Fridays.
Okay.
Yeah, Friday. Yeah, because I had already scheduled it before we decided we start doing it Saturdays. So January is the last one. Friday, January 24th, 2025 at 10 a.m. Central, live at youtube.com/homebrew happy hour. Come join the fun. We're going to be brewing it, and you'll see. I'm not diminishing the kit when I say it's so perfectly simple, because that's my favorite kind of beers. Like I'm preaching to the choir with James. Perfectly simple is all we want from a beer. Just be balanced.
Yeah.
That's all we want. We want balanced, maybe a clear beer at the end of the day, and something that we might be able to enjoy a lot of and not get smashed. Like that's the dream. A lawnmower beer, a lawnmower pills. I have friends that I train with who I got a text on Saturday after class. He was at Specs or he was at Total Wine, one of those. And he goes, hey, what do you know about Warsteiner? Warsteiner. And dude, 5 paragraphs later, I was like, okay, the little short story of that, or a long story short, as Todd would say, too late. I said, just get the pills. You're gonna love it. Just get it. And then they messaged me back a couple hours later, dude, this beer is so good. But you know what they said that I thought was funny? These are not craft beer enthusiasts. They might be functioning alcoholics, but they're not craft beer enthusiasts. They called it hoppy. Have you ever heard Warsteiner pill? I had to share it with you. They called it hoppy.
Well, they must be Coors Light drinkers, because
isn't that funny?
I've got friends that would agree with that statement on that beer.
Isn't that funny?
But they just don't realize what hoppy is.
I know, and I didn't dog them. I said they're like, it's hoppy, but it's really good. And I was like, I'm glad you like it. That's good. But I laughed. I almost screenshotted it and sent that to y'all because I've never heard Varsh.
That is pretty funny.
Yeah, never heard that. And even Todd's degenerate friends who don't appreciate craft beer wouldn't call that beer hoppy. But they've been
a lot of my friends do though.
Yeah, I know. I know you have a lot of friends though. You have your friends are also.
I'm trying to think of the ones that don't. Yeah, there's a couple that could probably care less.
Or
a couple of them are like, oh, it's got too many calories in it.
one of my favorite misnomers too from people, and again, I'm not a snob. Like I didn't correct them and go, "That's not actual hoppy bitter." Blah blah blah. But when people see a dark beer and they assume it's high ABV, it's strong, it's drunk. That stout means more bitter, and so like, oh, I don't drink Guinness, I can't do hard beers. And he's like, no, actually. Like Guinness proper on draft from the motherland is like 3%,
3.5%.
Yeah, 3.5%. It's actually pretty low calorie too. If you look at it,
Yeah.
it's damn.
Yeah, they
near a
designed
health
to drink a lot of it, I think is the reason why.
Exactly, it's damn near a health drink for the Irish. So it's like, but people again, it's just this kind of psychological thing where the beer's dark, it's probably going to taste bitter, it's going to be strong. I'm going to get smashed. And then they could be 5 Guinness deep and be like, I don't feel it. Like, yeah, that's the beauty of beer. But anyway, I had to tell you all that story. So yeah, Trub Club for Kolsch, guys, patreon.com/homebrew happy hour, brew day live on the 24th. And then if you go join now, I didn't bring it up on the other episodes, but I had to do it sooner than later because Patreon didn't have like a cutoff, but they told me like, hey, making changes now because it's the new year and all that to cover the stupidly increased cost of shipping. Brand new people, don't worry. If you're in a Trub Club tier right now, you don't got to worry about it. You can tune out, close your ears. People who are joining now, I had to pad every tier by like $5 to $7 here and there. So just to cover our shipping. We're getting killed on shipping. And by we, I mean me. I do the Trub Club kits, like entering in the shipping, and I have to give Todd the total, and it's been depressing. So I bumped up every tier just to try to cover it because we are coming nowhere near, even with our wonderful sponsors, Munton's Malt, Hops Direct, and Imperial, helping provide and ease the cost of what these kits are. Even if you don't count the labor it takes to make the kits, Todd, you'd agree, and James, you know too, the shipping right now, it's silly. It is so expensive to send stuff, even within Texas, where I'm like, what, $24 to send this kit to somewhere in Texas? And it all has something to do with FedEx and like the rural routes maybe, or don't get me wrong.
That's residential. They increase the if it's a residential address, we've seen in some instances where they double or more the cost of the shipping if it's residents.
Yeah, maybe that's what the next iteration of, or the next evolution in Trub Club is people getting, no, P.O. Box would be residential. Y'all go sign up, but give us a commercial address and save money on the tier you join. Because it has gotten absurd. It is so much money. And then so all of the Trub Club money has been going into shipping right now. So I bumped up everyone. You'll go see those changes. It's not a huge chunk. And to be fair to me, here's Joshua defending himself. I haven't changed the prices since October of 2019. If you had to make up a price or a percentage of what shipping's gone up since 2019, I think it's safe to say it's over 100%. Like it is, like the shipping of 2019 is not the same as the shipping of 2025. So I had to finally do that. So you'll notice that, friends, if you're brand new to the Trub Club, there's still, I challenge you to find any 5-gallon recipe kits, if that's the tier you're going to join, for the same price that we have at patreon.com/homebrew happy hour, comparing apples to apples, premium grains, fresh hops, and fresh liquid yeast. You're not going to get a better deal anyway with your shipping, quote unquote, included. So it's still a heck of a deal. I just felt like I had to bring that up and then defend myself too before I get all.
Wow, it was a long defense too.
Yeah, well, you would wait until the eventual deposition I'm ever in. They're gonna, when I represent myself, Mr. Student.
I mean, it doesn't even affect the current people, right?
It doesn't. No, they're grandfathered in.
Yeah, we're good.
Yes, they're all grandfathered in. But I don't want someone to join, like, because what's happened before is somebody will wait a year or two and then join again, and they'll be like, wait a second, it went up. Yeah, that's me telling you right now. It did go up. And if you're in the Trub Club, email went out yesterday. So you should see all that from Patreon. Anyway, I do believe that's all the small talk I have. Before I get into the questions,
it's time for listener feedback.
New year, new listener feedback. We got a voicemail from our buddy Nick from Seattle about inventorying ingredients and also some feedback on flavoring sparkling water.
Hey guys, I had some listener feedback. This is Nick from Seattle about Sarah asking about inventory software. I know you guys are partial to Brewer's Friend, but I would suggest Brewfather. I think it's like a whopping $16 a year. It has an inventory option. You can also build your recipes, including your inventory. Super easy. Just make the switch to the dark side, guys. It's better. It's way better. Second, about fruit juice, lime juice, and seltzer. I do dose the keg. If you're concerned about pulp or something getting in there, juice it through like a strainer, or get yourself a floating dip tube at kegconnection.com, and it comes out crystal clear every time. All right, guys, doing great. Take care.
Great feedback. I want to say one thing because I took it. It is good feedback and about flavoring and all that. About the Brewer's Friend thing, they did just update their app. I haven't checked to see though if inventorying is a part of it. The tier.
But it was already a part.
No,
of
I meant
it,
but
Yeah, you could do it already.
But at the tier we were at, or you had to be at a higher one. I mean, I think there's probably a comparable price. I don't remember.
I don't know. I'm on the highest tier, so
Yeah. No, you.
Yeah.
Oh, James,
it
and I
works
know.
for me. I mean,
I said,
Yeah.
we know you are, okay? We know. They gave you, when we all three reached out, Lorena was the one doing it. She was very quick to give Todd the red carpet treatment. And James and I got hey, remind me every 12 months to renew your tier. For you.
Yeah, we're premium members, but even premium members there's literally a icon that says my inventory.
Okay.
So
yeah.
you can go in there and it'll actually pull from it when you do but you have to go in, if you make a recipe, you have to go in and brew it, and then it'll pull off your inventory session.
Yeah.
Your brew session.
And like we talked about on that episode weeks and weeks ago, if we didn't have our master spreadsheet, because the three of us are all pulling from the same ingredient, I might use that feature. Like if and when the day comes that I bulk store here and I mill my own stuff here, shout out to the people I've emailed about a partnership for a mill exchange for a mill for sponsorship. Check your emails. But if I get to that point, maybe I'll utilize that myself, because that is a cool, using technology like that is super cool for the sake of knowing exactly what you have if you're too lazy to just look on the shelf, right? But at the end of the day, our spreadsheet works for us. And for a lot of people, they just buy recipe kits and they brew one for one. Bulk storing isn't always an option, especially now with, not to bring it back down, Todd, but with the unfortunate reality of a ton of local homebrew supply shops we've seen on Facebook shutting down, so people aren't able to get grains conveniently locally. I don't know if people, if that means they're going to be buying kits more, or if they're going to just drop the money on the shipping it costs for a 55-pound sack, because shipping's not cheap. You go to any of the online retailers, our friends at More Beer, Northern, wherever, shipping grains is very expensive. Have I mentioned on this episode, guys, that shipping is very expensive right now?
golly, thank you.
Anyways, Nick, thank you so much for leaving that feedback. Friends, if you leave voicemail feedback that I think is worthy of being on the future episode, to 325-305-6107, I'll use it, and you get yourself a gift card to kegconnection.com. Again, it really is that easy to give away some of Todd's money. Moving on, we got 3 great questions. With that being said, our first question is an email from our buddy Bill from Oklahoma, and he wrote in, "Hi Josh, don't feel bad for using strict RO water. It's what I've been doing too. I am considering buying bulk salts for brewing, and was wondering if you knew what the shelf life should be for those salts. I also would like to know if there's a general shelf life for milled grains. Considering joining the Trube Club, but don't have a mill, and I might not be able to brew within a few weeks after receiving your kits. Cheers from Oklahoma, Bill." This is the year. I gotta remind my pop when we do the Kolsch, we did say we're going to start trying to spice up our water a little bit in 2025. We're gonna try maybe not water profiles for every single batch, but maybe just a general using the Topo Chico mix and then brewing with that on top of the RO. James, you just use straight RO.
I do. Yeah.
So I'm gonna throw this question to Todd first, since of the 3 of us, he uses salts. I'm assuming it's any expiration date on gypsum or calcium chloride or whatever is a formality. Aren't those minerals technically good forever? Haven't they been around longer than we have?
Yeah, it's a mineral. I mean, my dad's a chemical engineer, and one of his favorite things is to read the expiration date on salt, on table salt. He's
It's only
like,
a million years
he's
old.
like, it's, this says that it's expires in 2027, but actually it expires in 1 million years.
Yeah, right. Like, that's what I don't get is I do get it. It's marketing, right? Or maybe it's liability,
Right.
or both. Maybe, I buy the pink Himalayan salt that's been around on Earth, it says, for tens of thousands, millions of years. And then, expiration's in 3 weeks. I got to use it. What are the odds that that's the one they sent me? But I can't think of any minerals, as long as you're storing it without moisture, right? Like if it's stored properly at room temp or even garage temps and on a shelf, maybe. I can't think of, I don't know, like even if my, my calcium chloride clumped up, I'm still going to use it. I'm still going to measure, what I'm like it. I can't think of it going bad. So do you agree with me, Todd, that shelf life is just store it properly and you'll have it forever until you use it?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I think too. Now, James, I'm going to throw the second part to you though, because I know this is a little bit more subjective to me.
Mm-hmm.
People get our kits either milled, unmilled, or double milled, which you guys, I love y'all to death or whatever, but it's so much work. But the ones that get them milled, they receive them and they can't brew immediately. Assuming they don't throw them in the freezer or the fridge, but they can store them safely. How long do they have before those?
3 months.
Oh, really? After milling?
Yeah, room temp 3 months. If you want to put it in the fridge, that extends it about a month. But if you freeze it, you can keep it as long as 6 months.
That's
milled.
Right, milled. Exactly. So if they receive our kit, they take out everything. They put the hops in the fridge. They put the yeast, the liquid yeast, in the fridge, which we already have the shelf life of that. It didn't start degrading until like 3 months as well, before it got noticeable. But the grains, if they have space in their garage fridge or freezer, the freezer's the ideal if they can't get to it within a few months.
Yeah, you need to keep it in the house. Don't put it in somewhere where the temperature fluctuates wildly, like a garage or a shed. Put it in your house, in a closet, in a pantry. You're good for 3 months. If you've got space in the fridge, 4 months, best thing to do would be just freeze it and then pull it out a day before you brew. And then if you do happen to have a meal, then you can bump that up to 12 months. You can do 6 room temp, 9 in a fridge, and then up to 12 months or a year frozen.
No kidding.
But I will tell you this: it's hard to crush the grains when the starch or the kernel's frozen. So you definitely want to set that out and let it thaw.
So now I'm going to make this question about me, as I usually do. If I did start, because I have been working with a company trying to get a grain mill, I'd like to, my pop and I, so, there's not been a difference. I'll come up to y'all's headquarters. I'll come up to our headquarters on a Monday and do the recipe kits and then make the recipe for my pop and I, and we brew usually that Friday after. That's not a big deal. It never has been. We haven't had a bad batch. However, if I started milling myself, I'd like to mill the day we are brewing, like right then and there. Yeah. That's what you do. That's like best practices if you can do it. If I do bring them home, my garage is probably still too fluctuating to keep the grains stored in one of those Vettel containers, because I have one that I could put them in. If they're unmilled,
put it in your office.
No, totally. That's what I'm saying. So the office unmilled in that airtight container, I've got a long time before those grains start staling up. Right.
Well, I mean, like I said, I think one of the biggest thing is humidity that gets to them. Is if you store them, and I know it's in an airtight container, but if you got temperature changes, you're going to have a condensation. That condensation is going to promote mold. That mold's going to ruin the grain. So it needs to be somewhere room temp, preferably in the house that's temperature controlled.
That makes sense. Okay. Like I said, I just wanted to make sure for myself, no, for a potential listener who has the same situation as me, want to cover those bases for them. That makes sense now, Todd, why you have the units upstairs running, because the grains, you want them to not stale up or whatever. So it keeps it in a range. Okay. I always wondered, I was like, no one's up there. Is he doing this for me? What a nice guy. It's not about me at all. It's been about the grains.
It's definitely not about you.
I tried.
I turned the heat up a little bit No, it's winter now. I turn the heat down when you come. Yeah.
Oh, Josh is here. Turn it off. You also, though, but you had your headphones off when I was talking to James about it. You prefer to mill your grains the day you brew, or do you not care as long as it's within a few days?
I don't care. No, I don't care.
Okay. Because I don't know. Again, you haven't brewed in forever, but I didn't know if, because you would brew like on a Saturday morning or something if you preferred to mill them that same morning. But like I was saying, guys, my pop and I have not had any problems with them, and I've kept them. I bring the grain bag home like on a Monday or Tuesday and leave it in my office, which is always anywhere between 70 and 74 all year round. And that's been working out for me, which, by the way, I meant to say too, if anyone was watching last week, on New Year's Day, I did a brew day live of making kombucha. It was the shortest brew day live ever because that's how easy it is. That batch is ready. I'm about to scale it up for a bigger batch because it's Kombucha Connection, Todd. That's what's coming up. You didn't see it on my 2025 planning list. That's my plans. I'm going to be rich. Kombucha Connection. I was going to do it in the city of Kyle. It would be Kyle Kombucha Connection, but then the 3 Ks, I can't do that. I forgot you can't do that. Got to spell connection with the C. Anyways, that was just never mind. So anyways, Bill, to wrap up your question.
That was awkward. I don't know what to say.
You never seen those goofy cafes on the side of highways where it's like Karen's Country Kitchen. You're like, wait a second. They know what they're doing. Anyways, I thought you would appreciate that living in Texas.
Well, there was a coffee cup cafe in Ico.
Was it all K's?
Yep.
See, they know what they're doing. What are they like? Mom, sorry, can't bring you to the coffee cup connection or whatever. No, she's passing. She'd be fine. No, anyways.
I think it's since been changed now, but I remember when I was a kid, it was.
Yeah, the same with Karen's Country Kitchen out going on 123 is not open either. I drive by that all the time. Bill, thank you so much for submitting the question. Friends, if you're watching at youtube.com/Homebrew Happy Hour, let us know what you think below about brewing with strict RO water or spicing up your water, as well as the shelf life of those minerals. I think we've got it nailed, but if you're like, no, Josh, it says a date on there. You got to follow that date. We'd love to hear from you. Your comments help the algorithm, which helps our show and our community grow. We're chugging towards 7,000 YouTube subscribers, which is still, half or not quite of our overall audience. But I've been happy. It's been growing. It's been good to see an audience get there. And y'all's comments on our videos and y'all interacting with them and hitting like and subscribing and all that good stuff really goes a long way. If you're an audio only listener and you happen to have a YouTube account, just go subscribe to the channel. I could not care less I could care less if you watch them. I'd love for you to watch the videos, but I understand why you would want to just listen. We're a very commuter friendly show, not necessarily a sit down on the couch with your popcorn and watching kind of show. I get that. But anyways, Bill, thank you for the text message. A reminder, friends, when you text 325-305-6107. You will get yourself a gift card to kegconnection.com, or you can email joshua@homebrewhappyhour.com. Like our second question of the show, our buddy Preston emailed me and he said, I finally brewed the famous breakfast stout clone you have on your website. Before you ask, yes, it is delicious. I do have a gripe that is probably user error, and that is that my version didn't end up as coffee as I would have liked. I don't think that's a word, Preston. What would happen if I racked from my current serving keg to a new serving keg that I first fill with even more cold brew coffee and then purge and then transfer? Am I asking for trouble doing this? It could be a lesson learned. In the next version of this recipe, I will be doubling the amount of cold brew coffee. Thank you for everything you do, Preston. I think this is very similar to what Todd does with every beer I give him, right? Where you transfer from what is in theory a serving keg to a different keg for the purposes of ridding any sediment from the bottom. Sedentary. Right, like you do that with basically every keg we give you, don't you?
Yeah. I mean, if I think there's something on the bottom, or if I'm going to be moving it, I mean, if it's pouring clear and it's in my kegerator, I don't. I just mean I wouldn't
be afraid of the process of close transfer a finished batch.
The reason I transfer it is that that you often give me kegs that aren't carbonated. So if I go to carbonate them, I'm going to shake everything up that's in there. and then I'm going to have to let it settle again. So that's the reason I do it primarily.
I don't want to argue semantics. They are carbonated. They're not carbonated to how you like them. They are naturally carbonated from the pressure fermentation. So, I mean,
some are and some aren't. Yeah.
No, every batch I've given you has been pressure fermented. Oh, but they're just low. Some are lower than others.
I agree that they're pressure fermented. I'm just saying they're not carbonated.
Okay. God. Well, again, I mean, I won't argue. I won't drag out this.
I mean, they're not carbonated to the level of carbonation that's proper for the beer.
There you go. I'm fine with that because you've given me trauma. I think you've given James.
I mean, even a beer you just brew and having a regular fermenter would have some level of carbonation to it.
Oh, God. Okay, look, James will back me up. Dude, sometimes you are just so persnickety about it. It's easier to just give you an undercarb keg and let you bring it up. Because if I accidentally overcarb it, there's no really coming back. It takes longer. It's a more difficult process. So I feel...
Yeah, no, I don't mind doing it. I'm just telling you why I transfer them.
But I only bring that up because, and James, this is me throwing it to you. If he wanted to sanitize it or clean and sanitize another keg, put as much more cold brew, because part of the breakfast stout recipe that we do does call for 12 ounces of cold brew in your keg when you're then racking on top of it from secondary. So if he was not happy with it, he doesn't have to wait a whole other batch. He could make more cold brew, sanitize, clean a keg, put it in there, close it up, purge that keg of the oxygen, make sure it's just CO2, do your close transfer, and then that would be a way to get even more coffee taste from his final thing and not worrying about infection or anything else because it's all closed.
Or oxidation. Would be the biggest thing. Yeah.
I mean, but
as long as it's purged and I would transfer on the dip tube, the outlet tube. When I do a transfer, I go from outlet to outlet, with a little hose and two black disconnects. So you're pulling from the bottom and filling from the bottom. So that seems to help as well.
That's the way I always do it as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And it helps. It makes a big difference. But I don't know if if I was going to do one with the Brautag, I would wait. I would add the coffee as I'm cooling down the batch of beer, in the whirlpool.
Oh, I think what he's saying though is that he finished it, he tried it, and he didn't like it.
Oh, no, I totally get that. I'm just throwing this nugget out there. If you have a temperature-controlled Herm system, if I was going to do one, I haven't done one in forever, but, as the temperature starts to fall, like it would be about the same difference as doing a whirlpool edition. But you could add your coffee there, and then it would brew while it's cooling down, and then you wouldn't have to worry about doing it later.
Yeah, in our recipe, you're right. That would be a way to get more flavor for sure. Because right now we use just ground beans during the during the flame out, and then the cold brew at packaging. But my dad said a similar remark to Preston, but this is the first year. So my dad usually had been doing the packaging for us because we've always brewed it at his house. And I'm pretty sure after watching how he measured out stuff on the brew day we did for the breakfast stout, I'm pretty sure he's been overdoing it. And that's why our former past batches had been so coffee forward, because I think he was doing more than what it called for. And when I did what exactly was called for from the book, it gave this perception of, it's not as coffee as it used to be. And when I got this email from Preston, when did he send it? Preston sent it, like 5 months ago. I was like, I got to bring that on the show because my dad was giving me a hard time. Like, doesn't taste as much coffee. Do you think so, son? And so I'm like, yeah, Pop, of course it is. It's the same. But it is delicious. Todd, you can vouch for that because you have it.
And I can definitely taste the coffee in it.
Yeah, I used a lot of cold brew, and I was from our friends at Mochas and Javas down here in San Marcos. You can also see that video. I did an interview with the owner, Kevin Carswell, at youtube.com/Homebrew Happy Hour. It wasn't really an episode that week, but it was a great conversation, and he helped me pick out the beans for this recipe kit, which I would say, Preston, arguably is one of the most important things you do. My dad would say the reason our batch isn't as coffee forward and not probably his favorite batch is because we didn't use Folgers. And that was the mistake. If we had just stuck to the plan of his and used Folgers, it would have been the best batch ever. But we had to use craft beans. And my dad always loves Folgers. He says it's the best part of waking up.
That's the
yes,
best part of waking up.
That's the joke. That's the joke. But anyways,
yeah, I know he has better taste than that. He just
he does. I think that's him trolling me. But I'm not gonna lie.
I know it is.
I have HEB had a clip coupon for a big old thing of their black silk, Folgers black silk. If
I can't find anything else, that's what I get.
Hey, I've been brewing it at home. It's good. Free promo for Folgers. Black Silk is good. I actually really liked it.
It's not as acidic as regular
exactly.
Folgers. And maybe that's why it works so well with coffee stout, is it's quite a bit bitter, more bitter than some of the craft beans, roasted beans.
That probably is exactly why. One of my issues, I'm with you. You nailed it. Some coffees are just so acidic. I can't have more than a cup before I'm going to start getting acid reflux. Mochas and Javas, their dark roast is not acidic at all. And that black silk from Folgers, no, I could drink that all day and not have, I'll start jittering and whatever, but no acid reflux.
But I'm telling you, all these Sumatra, get it. You won't regret it. That's the best coffee I've ever had. Buy
me a bag for when I come up there next. I'll Venmo you money and I'll take it home. And because I've tried it at the office. It's good. We just don't have an Aldi here. That's
wow.
Isn't that wild that y'all have an Aldi's and
we got 24 miles away in either direction. And you're in one of the largest metropolitan areas in Texas, and they don't have one.
Not convenient.
Makes no sense.
Isn't it stupid? Yeah. Those Germans probably do their market research. They probably know. But I'm waiting. The city of Kiowa is supposed to get one, and it just keeps getting delayed, and they didn't make some agreement. But yeah, no, I tried that Sumatra that you got from them, their house blend or whatever. It is super good.
And it's cheap. It's like $6 for a pound bag.
I know. Well, that's why. So I was happy about the Folgers. That one of the things too, I realized why people buy like Folgers or whatever. I didn't realize how expensive craft coffee is. Like even my friends at Mochas and Javas, you know what? And they sell a ton of it. Guess what a pound of their dark roast coffee cost?
$12.
$18.
Oh my gosh.
And college kids are in line. We're in the wrong business, guys. Coffee Connection. We got to start wholesale and buying and selling beans. That's where it's at, Todd. Bean Connection. But Preston, anyways, thank you so much for the email. Again, friends, if you're watching at youtube.com/Homebrew Happy Hour and you have something to say, leave it in the comments below. It, again, does help the algorithm. Or if you think you have a voicemail feedback worthy of being played on a future episode, call it in to 325-305-6107 or call in a question voicemail. And when I use it on a future episode, also get yourself a gift card to kegconnection.com. Did it not work? There we go. The gong of truth means we are on to our third and final question, and it is a voicemail. It's our buddy Pierre from California.
Hey guys, this is Pierre from California. Had a quick question in regards to refilling your own 5-pound CO2 tanks. Recently got a 50-pound tank for free, and pretty much all my research says you have to have a siphon type tank to use one of these refilling kits. So question number one is there a way around this? And two, if not, is it possible to get a siphon installed in your tank if it doesn't have one? Lastly, I want to do a quick shout out to y'all, especially James, for taking care of me when I had an issue with my tank connection order. I can really tell you guys, stand behind your products, and when issues do arise, you guys always do your best to make it right. So thank you again for taking care of me. And you guys have a listener and a customer for life. Take care. Thank you.
That's what I like to hear. Pierre, I'm always going to play your voicemails. You're like you and Marty from Omaha. Y'all got lifers. James, thank you for that, for taking care of him. Todd, I want you to answer it because I stay away from the fill station as much as possible, even though you've told Vilver, make him do it himself. And especially if I bring an out-of-date tank, which I haven't done in a long time, in my defense. I haven't even tried in the past. Yes, I did. I've brought out-of-date ones, but all of mine are freshly hydrodated, thanks to Mr. Burns, sending them all off. But my first concern would be a 50-pound tank for free is probably out of date, right? So what do you do with that?
I mean, who knows? I have no idea. But yeah, if it's I mean, if it's out of date, that might actually be a positive thing in his case, because when he gets it hydro tested, he just needs. I think he was saying siphon. Is that what he was saying?
That is the word. Yes, he said
okay.
from his research.
So I think what he meant was, I think what he means is like having a dip tube in it.
Is that what that? Okay.
I mean, that's what I would do. I mean, that's what I've done on all mine. Is when I got them hydroed, I had them put a dip tube on it, so that it's pulling these. CO2 is a liquid, so it's pulling the CO2 from the bottom of the cylinder. If it wasn't hydro and he was going to use it to fill, I mean, the only other way I could think of would be to fill it. Have the tank upside down, because you're pulling the gas off the top, and what you need to fill it is the liquid.
So, what's that piece of equipment though? Because you can't just hook up CGA whatever on one end and on the other. Don't you have to have? I
filled one the other day, and it got pretty much full without using the equipment because of the temperature.
What?
It was the cylinder was pretty full, and it was very, very cold. So it depends. A lot of it depends on the temperature. In the summer here, even if we use our pump, we still have to have the cylinder itself that we're filling still has to be as cold as possible, because it gets to the point where it just heats up too much when you're transferring and pumping it in.
That's what that thing is. That made sense. That pump.
Yes, it's a high pressure diaphragm pump.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Diaphragm sounds right, but yeah, it's just a pump. Yeah.
It kind of, because it goes psh, 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 and it sounds like it's got a diaphragm moving back and forth inside of it. But like Todd says, if it's not cold, what's the first thing CO2 wants to do when it warms up? Expand. So there's been times in the summer when it's been 105, 110 degrees. Customers brought in a frozen cylinder, and I still couldn't fill it completely up, because you could literally watch as it's going in there and expanding and getting hot. That's
wild.
Just can't do it.
Yeah, that's wild. So in a best, I mean, because our cylinders that we fill from are in a warehouse, can never be temperature controlled. There's not space for it. It wouldn't be economical sense. Hypothetically, though, if this guy was able to, if Pierre was, then that's what you do. You keep your cylinder as cool as possible 365 days of the year to make it easier to fill from it. Right? That's what y'all are saying.
I think so. I'm more familiar with the one you're filling, but
okay.
I would think that because ours was so cold in the warehouse the other day, and the cylinder we were filling were cold, that we were able to fill it. I was able to fill it almost all the way, just without even using the pump.
That's okay.
I did use a pump to finish it, but I was amazed at how much it got in there before. I mean, it was a 5-pound cylinder. It had like 4 pounds in before I had to use a pump.
That is incredible.
And it'll do it quick too.
Yeah,
especially
really quick.
If the situation, you get a good full cylinder, fill cylinder's full. It's cold. The filling cylinder's cool. It's amazing. I bet it'll put 4 pounds in before you even have to hit the button.
Todd, you have a lot of experience with this, and it may not be a black or white answer. Is it? I mean, the 50 pound was free to Pierre. I don't know how much that would cost commercially to get it hydro tested, and then the dip tube in, and then filled every time that he's going to have to fill it. Is it economically worth it, you think, to have your own fill station at home, or is CO2 reasonable enough to where, you just go get the 5 pounds filled as you need them?
Well, so, and it's good. He has a 55. I've never seen a 55 pounder, but
he said 50.
The ones we have are 50.
That's what he said. He said 50.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. So 50. Yeah. We have 150 here. And, the bigger the cylinder, the more economical it is, because you can't get everything out of it. So basically you're not, you're going to get a certain percentage out of that cylinder to fill the smaller cylinders with. And then at some point you get diminishing returns. So, even if he doesn't have a pump and all he's doing is transferring, if you have a cylinder at your house, a big 50-pound cylinder, and you got a smaller cylinder you're transferring to, it's very economical, because you don't really have to fill it to 5 pounds, because it's right there. You can fill it to 3 pounds.
Oh, that's a good point.
and then it runs out and you put 3 more pounds in it, whatever the case may be. So, but yeah, it's there's not a huge difference in filling a 15-pound cylinder as compared to filling a 5-pound cylinder. Most of the cost is labor. So, if I go and I have them filled, let's say that they charge me, $20 to fill a 5-pounder. And that's if I'm filling a whole bunch of them. I mean, most places around here now, 25 or 30 just to fill a 5-pounder. So let's say I pay 20 to fill a 5-pounder and I pay 35 or 40 to fill a 55-pounder. Well, yeah, I mean, you can fill that cylinder a lot of times. It's going to cost you a fraction of what it costs to fill a 5-pounder. Now, I will also say that most people, a 5-pound cylinder is going to last them a very long time, because it's a rule of thumb is it's half a pound per 15-gallon keg. So that means a 5-pound cylinder will push theoretically 10 full-size kegs. And I've found that it doesn't normally do that, particularly
when you're forced carbonating.
When you're a home brewer, because you're probably forced carbonating and other things. So, but it's still going to push a lot of kegs.
Or when you're a home brewer, and I know you think my kegs are undercarb, but I promise you, if you came to my pop's place, you'd disagree in regards to our method, where we're not having to use more CO2. We're taking the fermentation pressure, we're putting it in a keg, and then we're putting it on just the serving pressure. And less than 2 days, it's perfect.
But it's still using exactly the same amount of CO2 to do that.
Oh, right. But I'm saying, though, I'm not so you're saying, but if I cranked it up to like 30 and did the shake or whatever, it's not
really using more CO2. Oh. It's still absorbing the same amount of CO2. It's just doing it it's just taking a lot longer to do it.
Okay. Even though the beverage is cold.
Slower, high and fast.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I might. Did I look stupid by saying that? Because I'll edit that out if you think I did, boss.
No, you look brilliant.
Okay, thanks. Okay, perfect. I'm going to leave it in confidence. Again, guys, if you're watching, if you're listening.
I got James on that one.
I thought he was just agreeing. I thought that was a chuckle of agreeance. That's not what this is.
That's what it was, John.
Okay, thanks, James. See, y'all always have my back. And my.
Yeah, we do. We always.
Sometimes I hate you guys. Yeah, the knife. Yeah, thanks, Todd. But yeah, wrapping up Pierre's question, this would be, we have done it in the retail sense of why we have the big fill stations and all that. And it's maybe done more like a commercial operation would. If you do this at home, let me know how you do it, either in the comments below at youtube.com/homebrew happy hour, or call it in, because if it's good enough, I will absolutely play it on a future episode. Our hotline, once again, 325-305-6107, and you'll get yourself a gift card to catconnection.com. Win, 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 win. Pierre, thank you for the questions. Everybody else who sent them in today too. And gentlemen, thank you again for your time for this first real episode of 2025. Todd, you're going to hit the road in a week, a little bit less than a week. So yep. I'll figure all that out. I haven't actually talked to James about if he even needs me up there next week. I know you don't, but maybe the week after, come up there and help. We'll figure it out. I get in the way, I know. So we'll figure it out. We'll talk about it. But guys, I appreciate y'all's time today, and I'll talk to y'all soon.
Okay. Take care.
See you.
And
Bye-bye.
That will do it for this episode of the Homebrew Happy Hour. If you have a question you'd like us to discuss on a future episode, you could go to homebrewhappyhour.com. You could use that submit a question link at the top of that page, or even better, what you're going to do is call it in to 325-305-6107 and get yourself a gift card to kegconnection.com. Thank you to our show sponsors like Muntins Malt, premium grains for a better brew day. If you aren't already brewing with Muntins, give them a try by joining the Trub Club at a recipe receiving level. For the best hops available online, give our friends at hopsdirect.com a visit and pick up what you need for your next brew day. Also, get a pack of premium imperial yeast along with delicious recipes from us when you join the Trub Club. Again, go to patreon.com/homebrew happy hour and come brew with us. On behalf of Todd Burns, James Carlson, and the Pearl Media Network, I'm Joshua Stubing. Thanks for listening.